Welcome to the CISA Domain 1 revision video. In this session, we'll cover everything you need to know about Domain 1, the process of auditing information systems. This domain makes up 21% of the CISA exam, so it's crucial to understand it thoroughly. We'll break it down step by step, explaining each concept in detail. Let's dive in. Domain 1 focuses on the foundational principles of auditing information systems. It's divided into 4 key areas: the IS Audit Process, how to manage an IS audit function, the importance of audit planning, how to conduct audits in line with standards and guidelines. These areas are interconnected and form the backbone of what you need to know for the CISA exam. Let's explore each of them in detail. The IS Audit Process is the backbone of Domain 1. It involves several steps, each of which is critical to ensuring a thorough and effective audit. Let's break it down. Planning. This is the first and most important step. During planning, the auditor must understand the organization's environment, objectives, and risks. This includes reviewing the organization's structure, business processes, and IT systems. The goal is to identify what needs to be audited and why. Risk assessment. Once the planning is complete, the auditor conducts a risk assessment. This involves identifying and evaluating risks to the organization's information systems. Risks could include cybersecurity threats, data breaches, or system failures. The auditor must prioritize these risks based on their potential impact and likelihood. Audit scope and objectives. Based on the risk assessment, the auditor defines the scope and objectives of the audit. The scope determines what will be audited, such as a specific system, process, or department. The objectives outline what the audit aims to achieve, such as ensuring compliance, improving security, or identifying inefficiencies. Audit procedures. With the scope and objectives defined, the auditor moves on to gathering evidence. This involves testing and analyzing the organization's systems and processes. Techniques may include interviews, observations, and reviewing documentation. The auditor must ensure that the evidence is sufficient, reliable, and relevant to support their findings. Reporting. After gathering evidence, the auditor documents their findings in a report. The report should clearly communicate any issues identified, their potential impact, and recommendations for improvement. The report is shared with management and other stakeholders. Follow-up. The final step is follow-up. The auditor ensures that management has implemented the recommended corrective actions. This may involve a follow-up audit to verify that the issues have been resolved. Remember, the IS audit process must align with standards like ISACA's IT Audit Framework and COBIT. These frameworks provide guidelines for conducting audits effectively and consistently. Managing the IS audit function is about ensuring that audits are effective, efficient, and aligned with the organization's goals. Let's explore the key responsibilities. Resource management. The IS audit function requires skilled auditors and the right tools. Resource management involves allocating these resources effectively to ensure audits are completed on time and within budget. Policies and procedures. The IS audit function must have clear policies and procedures in place. These guidelines ensure that audits are conducted consistently and in line with professional standards. Quality assurance. Quality assurance is critical to maintaining the credibility of the IS audit function. This involves reviewing audit work to ensure it meets established standards and identifying areas for improvement. Reporting to stakeholders. The IS audit function must communicate its findings to key stakeholders, such as management and the audit committee. This includes providing regular updates on audit activities, findings, and recommendations. The IS audit function must remain independent and objective. This means avoiding conflicts of interest and ensuring that audit findings are unbiased and based on evidence. Audit planning is critical to a successful audit. It sets the foundation for the entire process. Let's break it down. Understand the business. Before planning an audit, the auditor must understand the organization's goals, processes, and risks. This includes reviewing the organization's mission, objectives, and key performance indicators. Risk-based auditing. Risk-based auditing is a key concept in Domain 1. It involves focusing on areas with the highest risk. The auditor identifies these areas during the risk assessment and prioritizes them in the audit plan. Develop an audit plan. The audit plan outlines the objectives, scope, and timelines for the audit. It also identifies the resources needed and the audit procedures to be followed. A well-developed audit plan ensures that the audit is efficient and effective. Engage stakeholders. Communication is key during audit planning. The auditor must engage with management and IT teams to gather information and ensure alignment. This helps to avoid misunderstandings and ensures that the audit meets the organization's needs. A well-planned audit ensures that the auditor can focus on the most critical areas and provide valuable insights to the organization. Audits must follow established standards and guidelines to ensure they are consistent, reliable, and credible. Let's explore the key frameworks. ISACA standards. ISACA provides a framework for IS audits through its standards and guidelines. These include requirements for independence, objectivity, and professional competence. COBIT or control. Objectives for Information and Related Technologies is a framework that helps align IT with business objectives. It provides guidelines for governance and management of IT systems. ISO standards. ISO standards, such as ISO 27001 for information security, provide best practices for managing IT systems. Auditors may use these standards to assess compliance and identify areas for improvement. Regulatory requirements. Organizations must comply with various laws and regulations, such as GDPR for data protection or SOX for financial reporting. The auditor must ensure that the organization is meeting these requirements. Adhering to these standards ensures that audits are conducted consistently and provide value to the organization. Here are some key concepts to remember for Domain 1. Risk-based auditing. Focus on high-risk areas to ensure that the audit provides the most value. Independence and objectivity. Avoid conflicts of interest and ensure that audit findings are unbiased. Evidence collection. Gather sufficient, reliable, and relevant evidence to support your findings. Reporting. Clearly communicate findings and recommendations to stakeholders. Follow up. Ensure that corrective actions are implemented and verify their effectiveness. These principles are essential for passing Domain 1 and conducting effective audits. To ace Domain 1 on the CISA exam, understand the IS audit process inside and out. Focus on each step, from planning to follow-up. Memorize key standards like COBIT and ISACA's IT Audit Framework. These are frequently tested on the exam. Practice risk-based auditing scenarios. The exam often includes questions that require you to identify and prioritize risks. Review sample questions to familiarize yourself with the exam format and types of questions asked. Remember, Domain 1 is about understanding the process, not just memorizing facts. Apply what you've learned to real-world scenarios to reinforce your knowledge. That's it for Domain 1. You now have a solid understanding of the IS audit process, managing the audit function, planning and conducting audits in line with standards. Keep practicing, stay focused, and you'll be ready to tackle the CISA exam. Good luck!